And hello. Welcome to the Absolute Football Podcast, the Absolutely Premier League show. Hope you're all doing fantastically well. There is a bit of live Champions League going on tonight as well, but you can chat to us. We'll keep you updated. Grimmy's got all the games. Look at it. It's all flashing on his screen. He's there. He's everywhere
All right,
across
don't call
Europe.
me out.
Well, I have as well, to be fair.
Yeah.
I'm joining you in the naughty boy corner. But we are here to talk about the Premier League, some magical stories from the weekend. It is, of course, Christmas and December and all very exciting. But that also means lots and lots of football to keep on top of and talk about. I'm happy to be back as well. Thank you to Shah for covering me last week when I was on my Holly Bobs. I think you had a great show, didn't you, Grimmy, last week? It was very entertaining. Enjoyed yourself?
Yes, very much so. Having Ant and Sean on to host was good stuff, and yeah, lots of contradicting statements between me and Ant because he disagrees and I disagree with him all the time. I think it's just because I live in Newcastle and he lives in Sunderland, really. So that's probably why. But yeah, no, it was all good fun. Yeah, great to have them both on.
It's the line of the border. That's what it is. It is the line.
Yeah, it is.
Line
Even though I'm not a Newcastle fan, but hey, I've got to represent, I guess. But, yeah.
You get dragged, don't you? You do. Yeah, I get dragged. You get dragged into it, even though it's got nothing to do with you. You can't help. You have to pick a side. They won't have any neutrals. But how's your week been, Grimmy? How's life in general?
Yeah, busy. I think everyone is busy at this point, aren't they? Getting ready for Christmas and prepping for that. So yeah, it's nice and busy, and hopefully it'll quieten down once we get to Christmas so I can enjoy a bit of time off. But yeah, so far so good. How's your week been, Sam?
It's been good. It's been busy. I was on last night's non-league show. I'm on the lower league show on Thursday. I'm going around all the leagues. I'm covering all of. I'm doing what Shah does when she does a triple. Yeah. It's just football coming out my brain. So it's all good. We love a bit of football. So I'm good. I'm having a great week. And of course, it's not just me and Grimmy. It's the wonderful Heather is back with us as well. Heather, how are you? How's life? How's the Christmas running going?
It's all good. The Christmas running is sort of calm this week, and then from next week it just goes crazy as hospitality is always busy around that time of year.
Absolutely.
It absolutely is for Christmas. And I've been watching plenty of football as well, I'm sure.
Yeah, it feels like I've permanently been at a match.
I must say, every time I've watched Bournemouth, it seems like you get the most horrendous weather as well. I don't think since that live watch along we've done, I've ever seen a Bournemouth game without torrential rain.
Saturday wasn't too bad, but the Everton one was pretty bad, and the one at Sunderland was really bad as well.
This is it. You just got permanent rain turned on for Bournemouth matches at the moment. But yes, we are here to talk Premier League, and it's not just us, it's the wonderful people that are congregating in the chat as well. We've got good evening from Graham as well. He's currently, an emotional valley, sadly, after the passing away of the supporter at the weekend, which is just absolutely horrendous. They're playing Middlesbrough tonight, 1-0 to Middlesbrough. Graham gives us the update. Sean is here as well. He's currently 1-1 with Northampton and Huddersfield. Of course, a full EFL program going on as well. So double game week I've got to cover on Thursday as well. I'll have to catch up with those games at some point in time for Thursday, but I won't worry about them today. Evening all as well. Evening to Alid. Sally wasn't with the non-league pod. This is Grand Deposit. So sorry to hear that, Alid. Hope you're all doing well. Love to you and your family at that time. That's awful this time of year. He's currently watching Swansea versus Portsmouth. 0-0 there at the moment. Evening to Richie as well. Says hello to us. Hope you're doing well. And of course, everybody else sort of coming in. So wonderful. Shall we talk a little bit of Premier League? And where should we start? Well, I think we have to start. They're currently playing tonight. Oh, Heather's disappeared. I don't know where she's gone. Let's see if we can bring her back. She's back. Not sure what happened there, but Heather has returned. Yes, it was Leeds 3, Liverpool 3. And we'll get to a major moment that happened after the game in a certain interview that I think we'll want to discuss. But should we start with the 3-3, Grimmy? It looked like Liverpool were going to pick up 3 points after their dodgy run. Ekitike scoring twice, but again, throwing it away, Leeds back in. Tell us about the game.
Yeah, it was I would normally say in the Liverpool circumstance it would be a strange one, but I think it's kind of been the epitome of their season, really, this game, where they've looked all right going forward, and then for some reason they've just sort of thrown it away. And yeah, it is a strange one. We'll have to see, obviously, what happens in terms of obviously going forward, what they do. Oh, everything's a bit weird.
I can hear you, but I can't see you, Grimmy.
Yeah, my camera's turned off for some reason. It will be back on shortly, I imagine. Give me 2 seconds while I try and figure that one out. Maybe throw it to Heather while I figure my camera out.
there we go. So Heather, what did you think about what was going on at Leeds Liverpool?
I found it quite interesting. The comment from Sly, I can't pronounce his name. But basically, they thought the game was over, so they weren't continuing to defend.
Yeah, there seems to be a lot of complacency, doesn't there, in the Liverpool play?
A lot of complacency and not very much media training, from the sounds of it.
Well, it depends which view you're looking through. I think if you're well, certainly not from a club view, which we'll definitely come to. But Grimmy's back. Grimmy is back. Richie says Leeds. What a stupid tackle by Kanate. What's going on there at the back? Liverpool look absolutely all at sea whenever they're under any kind of pressure at the moment.
Yeah, the defensive frailties are there for everyone to see. I think, like that comment suggests, Kanate made another glaring error and kind of made a silly tackle when really Nonto wasn't going anywhere, and it wasn't really necessary, to be fair. It's not like he was bearing down on goal or anything. He was tucked into the sideline and it wasn't really necessary. But even if you take away Kanate's error, I think overall Liverpool's defensive frailties have been there to see all season, really. I think the decision not to go after Gueye in the summer is kind of showing its ugly head at the moment. And yeah, just top to bottom, really, structurally organized wise, defensively, Liverpool haven't been great all season. And unfortunately, I don't think it's going to improve the way they're playing because, again, we know it's well documented. Slot's trying to open Liverpool up a bit more and trying them to get to play a bit more of a swashbuckling style, but it's not really helping them at the back. And maybe they just need to go back a couple of steps to maybe a bit more organization like they did last season when they were a lot more organized and a bit more efficient with the ball and sort of keep the chances away from goal. But yeah, no, I don't want to take anything away from Leeds though, because I feel like this past week, especially when you consider the City result and how they played in that second half, you consider the Chelsea result, and then obviously they've come back twice against Liverpool. I think you have to give credit to Leeds because I think a lot of teams that have been promoted having that sort of week of fixtures, I mean, specifically not necessarily the performances, I think a lot of teams would have crumbled, but credit where credit is due to get 4 points against probably the three of the biggest teams in the country. And again, getting points the way they did, coming back against Liverpool, obviously playing brilliantly against Chelsea and almost getting something at City as well. I think considering Farke was almost out the door, but at the start of that week of fixtures, I think you have to give him credit and you have to give the players credit. They found a system with three at the back that's making them a bit more difficult to beat, and they're keeping themselves in games, which is more than you can say for maybe Burnley and the Wolves of the league. So they're giving themselves every chance of staying up, which is all credit to them, really, because I didn't expect to see that at the start of the season. So maybe they've turned a bit of a corner.
Yeah, you didn't expect when they were just outside the relegation zone at the beginning for them to be not beating, but drawing with Liverpool. Mm-hmm. It just seems crazy. And Liverpool have only kept 2 clean sheets since September or something.
Yeah.
It's just mental.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
It's mad, isn't it? I mean, say on Liverpool, yeah. I mean, the last couple of games, I mean, they had the win against West Ham where they did manage to sort of keep one, then Sunderland where it was a bit better defensively, but they just got picked apart. And I mean, as you touched on there, Grimmy, Leeds' record, I mean, Ellen Road's been pretty decent. You know, it's not, they've only lost twice so far this season out of 8 games, so that's not a too bad record. Winning 3 times, drawing 3 times as well, and yeah, a point against Liverpool. Even this Liverpool in this kind of sort of condition is a fantastic point for them, as you know, a kind of bonus point. And Dominic Calvert-Lewin is scoring goals. Rebecca will be so happy. Good old bit of DCL. But I think on the Liverpool, I mean, as you say, there's no, missing out on Gay. He clearly was a big sort of kick in the teeth to them and the strength of that. But they've also had that young Italian, isn't it? Leone, who's injured. I think they were hoping to give him minutes. Gomez, I think, is playing tonight, isn't he? But I think that he's struggled a bit for fitness so far this season. So it just does seem like a lot of changes. And there's been a lot of criticism of the new signings not connecting, the system, the experienced players not going on. There's obviously some criticism of a certain Mo Salah, who didn't start the last 3 games. And as you mentioned there, Heather, had an interview with the media, which he chose to do. He made a couple of choice comments, which I'm not sure anybody's picked up on. It was quietly dealt with, I think, by the media. What did you make? Obviously, Mo Salah, some of the comments came out, I think, to the effect of, I've been thrown under the bus, I think was one thing that he said. It's like the people in the club are trying to get me out. I have no relationship with Arne Slot. What do you make of it all?
I don't think it does him any favours. Like, if he's looking to go elsewhere, which he obviously is, why would you take a player that's going to do that? Going to be speaking out like that, and it's a club that he says he loves. Why do you not just try and sort it out internally and not put all this stuff out in the media, which he knows is going to get picked up on, just to try and force a move or something?
And he's very particular about the time. I think the timing he's used as well, off the back of a disappointment, Liverpool fans being disappointed with it. And it's certainly split a fan base to a point.
Because he's off to AFCON, isn't he? So he was like, this is probably the last time that I'm going to be playing at Anfield or something like that. So...
Yeah, he's not obviously in the squad and been left at home for the Champions League game. He said, I think it's next week he goes. So I wouldn't expect him probably now to feature before AFCON, while I suppose they decide and Slot decides and Liverpool decide what they're going to do long term with him. But it's reminiscent, Grimmy, in different circumstances completely of a Ronaldo Ten Hag situation, shall we say, where a player wasn't happy, came out and talked, but in a very kind of different way. What did you make of the Salah thing, and how does Slot come out of this in any kind of strong position?
Yeah, I was just thinking whilst you guys were talking there. It just clicked in my head that it does feel very carbon copy of the Ronaldo situation, although we don't have a big tell-all Piers Morgan interview to go along with it. When I was thinking about it today, obviously knowing we were coming on tonight, I guess I kind of wasn't surprised really, considering we had the whole fiasco of him talking about how last season they hadn't made any contact about a new contract and this, that, and the other. I think when a player does that in that sort of scenario, it kind of shows that they're willing to go that extra boundary and cross that line. People have suggested that it's maybe to try and get Slot out, but I don't think a manager coming in, seeing Salah playing the way he's playing, is necessarily going to think, oh, he's going to just switch a light on, because switch the flick on, or flick the switch on, I should say. I can't get my words right. When I come in there. So, yeah, I don't think it paints Liverpool or Salah in a great light. I think Slot's personally made the right decision not to play Salah because of how Salah started the season. I don't think he's necessarily... It's not like a Ten Hag situation where he kind of left Ronaldo out and people didn't really understand why, because Ronaldo was scoring goals whilst not doing a lot else. He was still chipping in with goals and doing that. But with Salah, it's just been like he's basically been non-existent at the start of the season. And that's not me trying to dig in at a Liverpool player being a United fan. That's just the cold, hard facts, really. In terms of how Slot gets out of this and comes out of this, I think the thing that'll help him is I think the fans will get in his corner more than they will with Salah. Because I've seen it already with a bunch of pundits, commentators, whatever you want to call them, saying Salah is way out of line for this, and like Slot's not really done anything wrong. When he's the manager, it's his decision. If he leaves you out, there's a reason for it. We can all see why, as I said before. But the problem Slot has is he needs to pick up results and pick up results quickly. The longer Salah stays out of it, and even if when Salah goes to AFCON, if they can put a run of form together whilst he's away, it almost emboldens Slot's decision and goes, yeah, we've made the right decision. We might not be great at the moment. we might not be what we were doing last season, but at least we're getting better and sort of making the right steps forward to get back to that point. So, yeah, I just think it was silly from Salah. I don't really get why. I think there's the way to do it. I think if he turned around and said to them, look, can I just go during AFCON or in January, they would have gone, yeah, there's a bunch of Saudi clubs that probably want to buy you and will pay you probably double the wages you've got now, because I think this is the first year, or would have been his first full season of that bumper contract pay packet that he got last season. So, yeah, it's a strange one. I think that, he's been outspoken before, like I said, last season, so not really that much of a surprise. But, yeah, it just feels very much like it's the end for Salah now with Liverpool. It's just, I think it's a sad way I think he'll still be seen as a Liverpool legend as time goes on. But I think in the short term, I think there will be a lot of backlash to him from the Liverpool fans. And it's just a sad way for it to end, really, when he has been a Liverpool and a Premier League great, really.
Yeah, it's ending. If it is ending, as you said, in a very distasteful kind of the way, as you said, he's a Liverpool legend. I think whatever happens, and one of their greatest ever players, no doubt about it, one of the greatest players that we've seen in the Premier League, and that's not going to change. But it's kind of happened. I wouldn't say that I saw that this coming in this massive implosion, but I think I was saying earlier in the season in the pod, I thought when they got to AFCON that because they've got no Salah and they have to play a different way, that they'll find a better balance, because you've got the situation where Salah doesn't do the tracking back, he kind of never has, but if he's getting the goals and he's doing the business in terms of the front end, then you live with that, and Liverpool have lived with that and works around it. But when he's not scoring the goals, then it gets highlighted a lot. And it hasn't happened in Salah's career, to be fair. He always, he's had a couple of games dip, but he always comes bouncing back. We've not seen this long period. And maybe this is it, to leave someone out for 2-3 games is not. Anybody can be left out for 2-3 games. And I think it's just disrespectful to your teammates as well. It's almost like saying, how dare I be off the bench when you've got all these numpties not playing well enough, and what some of them must think. I think by the sounds of it, there's a bit of a split in the squad about that as well. So you wonder how fractious that dressing room really is. And you've got, let's not forget, a lot of new players that have come in there. The last thing you want a load of new players coming in is a divided dressing room, when they were probably thinking it's all hunky-dory at Liverpool when they're moving in the summer. They've just won the title, everything's fantastic. You've got Leader Van Dijk, you've got Salah there, you've got these fantastic players, Alisson, Robertson, that have done it all. McAllister's there, had a great season last season, and now they're probably all in there trying to find their feet with all this kind of noise and nonsense going on. So it's an incredible it's an incredible interview, that's for sure, that Salah's come out with. But I suppose the Saudi thing, the only thing is he needs to be playing football. He can't afford. This is not the season for him to not be playing football, because he's obviously got the African Cup of Nations now, which he'll go off to. But Egypt have made the World Cup as well. I think, if I'm not forgotten, he's never played the World Cup before. This is Egypt's first foray into it since Salah's played, I believe. Unless someone can correct me in the chat. So it's massive for him to go out and represent his country at the World Cup, and at this stage in his career is going to be his last chance, effectively, isn't it? While in 4 years maybe he'll be about, but he won't be anywhere near the powers he is if he is. So yeah, it's a crazy time. I have just noticed, by the way, that there is a Man City badge next to Leeds United, so I will point that out before we get a hasty for that in chat. But it's the joys of running all the pods and all the graphics this week. They are going to be mistakes, I'll be honest. Trying to get them all done. Davis here, he's obviously a Liverpool fan, says how as bad as Liverpool are, still in running for top 4 finish and little hope for the title. We still got a little hope for the title. That's probably. That's optimism, but everyone is has the right to their opinion and beliefs. It says, don't win Saturday, they can both go. Salah and Slot. Salah won't perform at AFCON either. He's gone. Hopefully Liverpool will get 25 million if lucky for them. I mean, at least AFCON gives them that kind of window to decide what's going to happen. The only way I can see a quick resolution is if Salah apologises, and I don't think that's going to happen.
No, if he goes too big for that.
Yeah, they don't back down, and his agent won't have him backing down either. The best bit I enjoyed about the interview, there was the poor Liverpool press officer in the background. It was literally sort of, you could just read their face going, oh my God. See the
Better not
fire and
look at it.
smoke.
There's going to be some overtime on this one. I think that's what I saw on their
The
facial
cogs wearing
expression.
it's supposed to be Christmas, Mo. I'm chilling out now, like, you know. So for a nice couple of weeks, absolute shocker. But yes, and it's obviously coincided with terrible form for Liverpool. Arne Slot under tremendous pressure as well. But as David says, and when we come to the league table at the end, it's so tight between those sort of top positions. Like, you know, okay, Liverpool would want to be in the title race, but you know, if they can put a bit of a run together, I think if anyone can get a bit of consistency this season, they may well be the ones that end up in the top four. So the season is not lost, but at the moment, the ship is very much at sea with no direction, I think is fair to be said. But they can put it together. The players are there to do it. So we'd never write Liverpool off. That is for sure. Mm-hmm. Right, so I think we've covered Leeds, Liverpool. Where should we go next? If I can find the right screen to pull up. Shall we do? Because there was another massive game at the top end of the table. And the question I do want to ask you both: are Aston Villa in a title race ever? Are Aston Villa become the new neutral favourite?
They are at the moment.
A fantastic win for them, wasn't it, against Arsenal? Yeah. What a moment late on.
Yeah, Arsenal's starting possibly to fall apart again, but they're still a couple of points ahead of Man City, aren't they? So they might be able to hold in there, and hopefully it was just a bad day at the office. And Villa are a very, very good team at the moment, aren't they? So
yeah, it's not a disaster. It's their first loss. There's only the second loss of the season since they lost to Liverpool back in August. So it's their third away game on the bounce. They've not picked up a victory, but if you're doing what Arsenal were doing, then I think if you're picking the draws up and you're going to lose the odd one, particularly when both your centre backs are out, it's probably, you know, they just have to brush it under the carpet, don't they? And got a tricky game up next because they're home to Wolves, so I'm sure they'll be really worried about that one, which we will come on to later. But yeah, just a little blip from an Arsenal perspective. But Grimmy, do you echo that? Villa have been on a tremendous run. I mean, it's not just.
Yeah.
It's
well,
not
the
just
first few games
it's a tremendous run.
I think it was the first 5 or 6 games
There's 5 games.
Lost or didn't
they
win.
Lost or, yeah, they had 3 points after 5 games, and they've now gone on. They've won 9 out of their last 10, with the only loss at Anfield.
Yeah,
and that's
it's crazy. It's crazy. Yeah, I mean, obviously we spoke about it at great lengths in the early podcast of the season. I mean, I think they had a bad run where they didn't even score a goal till like the Sunderland game, isn't that right?
Yeah.
Like that's it. Like that in of itself is like is bizarre to say that a team can go 4 or 5 games without scoring the league, and then somehow 10 games later are now potentially in a title challenge for the rest of the season. Like, I think it just speaks to the quality of Unai Emery as a manager, that despite the ship maybe starting to sink a little bit early on in the season, he's turned it round, and he's doing what he's been doing really since he stepped through the door at Villa. You can see the energy is there now in the team. I mean, 2 prime examples of that is if you look at Emery himself on the sidelines in that game, he was up in the air, he was clapping the players, he was really cajoling the players from the sidelines. And then if you cue to the start of the season, he looked a very frustrated figure, and he wanted to be anywhere else but in that dugout. And then the other sort of example I would show is like Ollie Watkins. The past couple of weeks, he's looked like the Ollie Watkins of old, really, sort of holding off defenders, making those runs. He scored a couple of goals now as well. I know he didn't necessarily score on Saturday, but you could see from the performance itself, it looked like it was the Ollie Watkins we've seen since, well, the past few seasons, really, since he's been at Villa, and looking like he's going to start challenging for that position to be on the plane for the World Cup for England as well. So, you know, a lot's going right for Villa at the minute. And again,
it's like almost like a new signing for them as well, isn't he?
Yeah.
Obviously, you come back from that bad injury, and they didn't have him for most last year, and now he seems like he's popping up with goals all over the place as well. And I feel really happy for them. It's nice to see another team that's not one of the the traditional big 6 or whatever doing so well.
Oh, 100%. And like, I think the stat I saw was that with that goal, I think he's either the joint top goal scorer or he's the second top goal scorer for them. And he's not necessarily starting every week. He's chipping in with goals off the bench and doing his thing whenever he's needed. So if they've got players like that on the bench as well, then it just shows that Emery's got them going in the right direction again. And again, like Sam was saying about the form, I think they're in an excellent position to keep that going. Whether a title challenge is on the cards, I don't know. I think that's kind of maybe a step too far for them, because I think they probably will go quite far in the Europa League, and I feel like that might be where the balance comes is, okay, we might drift away in the title challenge, but we'll probably be in around the top 4, but we could probably go get the Emery Trophy, as I like to call it now, the Europa League. So, yeah, I think they're definitely going to be mixing it up there in the top 4 this season. There's no reason not to be, but it is just totally confusing my brain. And the fact that the first 5 games we were thinking, well, Villa in a bit of trouble because they were looking sluggish and not really at it. But it just shows you the turnaround they've had. It's been fantastic.
It is. It's crazy, isn't it? The first 5 they drew with Newcastle. They lost away at Brentford, 3-0 at home by Crystal Palace, draw away at Everton, draw away at Sunderland. Say, as you said, Sunderland their first goal. And it was off the back as well of that transfer window where they weren't able to do a lot because of their PSR restrictions. They had to sell Jacob Ramsey, didn't they? He had to go. And they were only, I think, Guessand was their highest. It was the highest paid player that they had coming in. I think there wasn't a lot. They got the loans, I think, for Harvey Elliott, who's barely played, but David's taking credit for his Liverpool. His morale from the sidelines has been the difference. You want to say with that? I think Sancho, Johnny Almalen's been really good. As you said, Buendia coming back though, real kind of new player, and then they've had Boubacar Kamara come back from long-term injury as well. I mean, the Duracell bunny that is John McGinn, who's just literally everywhere whenever you watch him. And Yuri Tielemans as well doesn't get enough credit for me. He's a fantastic footballer. I love watching Yuri Tielemans. And it's crazy. It's 5 on the trot and it's 9 out of 10. And who knows? I mean, the confidence that they'll get from beating an Arsenal team that looked unbeatable. Okay, yes, no Gabriel, Saliba, etc. And then they went right to the end, and that late goal can do so much for you. So it's why not? They just stay up there in the fight, see what happens. And it makes it more exciting. It reels Arsenal back in a little bit, so it makes it very intriguing. But from an Arsenal perspective, Grimmy, you see you said one loss since the Liverpool game, just a blip. Everything's, but they played a lot of games, a lot of big games in recent weeks. You think that's just it, and a bit of change of personnel at the back, difficult Villa side, chalk it off and go again.
Yeah, it was one of those where the game, if you actually look back at the game, I think it was 50-50. It could have gone either way. They certainly had chances. They went close with a couple of efforts. I don't think Arsenal played badly by any stretch of the imagination. I think it's 50-50 toss-up as to whether Villa would have won the game or Arsenal would have won the game, because they were both going for it at the end, which was a surprising change, really, to see both teams going for it and sort of making substitutions to sort of try and get the win. But yeah, I think they'll be all right. I think the fixture list for the next 5 is Wolves, Everton, Palace, Brighton, and then it's Villa again just before New Year. So I think they'll pick up plenty of points between now and the sort of end of the Christmas period. And yeah, I don't see this as the typical Arsenal drop off that we sometimes see. I know Heather was alluding to it before. But yeah, it obviously puts a bit more pressure on them now with City sort of starting to pair nicely along and just picking up those wins like they tend to do around this time of year. But I still think Arsenal will be there or thereabouts come the end of the season. I think it's just one of those games. Playing against a team in the form that Villa are, you can easily drop points against a team like that.
Yeah, you certainly can. There's some good games in there coming up again. Interesting how Villa get on when they turn it around at the Emirates in. I think that one's New Year's, I think, isn't it? That one.
Yeah, it's like 30th. It's the 30th, I think. I think it's just before New Year's, yeah.
I'll be a player. And Grummy is asking Grimmy, what was Odegaard doing for the Villa winner, Grimmy? What was he doing?
I mean,
cup of tea?
Cup of tea? Do you want a sandwich with that? I don't know.
They were having a bit of a scramble, weren't they? It's hard to keep them out with that.
Yeah.
I loved it. It was a good old-fashioned scramble. You don't see enough of them. It was just pinballing around. You're just thinking, you just wanted to fall to someone put their laces through it.
Yeah.
I think it's 100%. Yeah, I think it's that those sort of things though, and these types of games are kind of solidifying in my mind that I think the Premier League is kind of going back a little bit to like that sort of mid 2000s, 90s era where it's kind of like teams can lose points at any given moment now, and it's not like you're going to have a team like we've seen like during the Pep era of City where they're going to win 20 games in a row or something crazy like that. I think the Premier League is kind of going back to that old sort of style where the bottom teams can pick up points from the top teams and anywhere in between. So yeah, but it just makes it more entertaining and better for us as neutrals to watch it. So yeah, more of it, please. I guess is my statement.
We love it, and we want some more. So yeah, results like this do pull everybody's attention in. When it being I like the fact it was the first one of the weekend as well. It just sets the rest of the weekend up with that shocker straight off the bat. You're like, okay, anything is possible, and certainly what is possible at the moment, if I can find the right one. In the world of Rebecca, anything is possible because Everton are flying up the league. 3-0, the old Dyche derby. At the Everton Hill Dickinson Stadium as Everton beat Nottingham Forest 3-0, an emphatic victory for the Toffees. They have been better recently. That's 2 wins on the trot as well now for them. 4 in 5 as well for Everton. A really good run. I'll come to you first, Grimmy, on Everton. Then Moyes' boys are starting to cause some trouble. How are you rating Everton's season so far?
Oh, I mean, how can you not say in comparison to where they've been the previous 5 seasons? I don't think you can rate this anything other than a brilliant season so far for Everton. Moyes has got them playing in a typical David Moyes way, tough to play, get forward, getting goals. Home is a bit of a fortress at the minute, and they're nicking results away. They're having a great season, and yeah, they're another team that are probably in the fight for European positions, really. I mean, I think he said in his press match or post-match interview, I should say, he was like, I'm at the point now where I shouldn't really be saying that we're fighting for relegation and things like that, but I also can't guarantee we're going to be in the European fight because it's going to take a lot for us to be there, but we're certainly going to give it a good go. And to hear that out of David Moyes obviously shows he's in a much better place than what he's been maybe with likes of West Ham and obviously the other clubs he's been at where maybe it's not gone so well for him. I say not gone so well at West Ham. He did win a European trophy, but towards the end it kind of went a little bit off pace for him. But yeah, I think for Everton it's been a brilliant time for them, and the fans will just be relieved that they're probably not going to be involved in the relegation battle much this season. So yeah, they'll be enjoying that, I'm sure. Especially our own pitchside correspondent from the Dickinson Hill Stadium, Rebecca. So yeah.
She's loving it, and she's loving it again because they're Accrington are winning tonight. Rebecca's just winning. Rebecca is just winning wherever she goes at the moment.
They must be loving being above the other half of the city as well.
I know, as it's kind of coincided with the red side of Merseyside not doing so well. It's all lovely, isn't it? And when is the next? It's almost like that Merseyside derby came too early, didn't it? The Hill Dickinson one's not till like match day 33. It's ages away, but it could have some intriguing connotations if it carries on going the way that it's gone. But yeah, they've been fantastic. That's clean sheets as well. The 4 clean sheets out of the last 5 ever.
And Barry got his first goal as well.
Oh, he did. And he was so happy, wasn't he?
Yeah, the clean sheets are an important factor, aren't they? Because it could come down to goal difference with how tight the table is. And if you're not letting the goals in, then that's a very good start.
And it's what always those David Moyes team used to remind you of, that they would be a nightmare at the back. They would be solid, and that's kind of what they're built on. And I think someone who's not really got a lot of credit, I think, so far this season I think Rebecca was saying, was pretty much going to be out on his heels, they thought, in the summer. Michael Keane's having a phenomenal, not just a goal scoring season, but he's putting in some phenomenal performances in there. I mean, the fact that Jared Branthwaite's out, no one's mentioning it because Michael Keane and Tarkowski have put quite the partnership together. Was that a surprise, Michael Keane, ever performances he's putting in?
I didn't really know a lot about him, to be fair, beforehand, because I only sort of heard of the ones that they had at the time at the beginning of the season. But yeah, he's he's doing amazingly. Like, he definitely had his name mentioned a lot when he was playing us on last Tuesday. It was a fairly even game between us, but obviously Grealish popped up with a goal. So
As he does.
Jackie Grealish with a nice goal in that one. Yeah, he's been very good. Another one, Grimmy, is doing exciting on the goal scoring sheets again. He's starting to really come into his own. Keenan Dewsbury Hall as well. This is the move that finally is springboarding him to reach his potential.
Oh, 100%. Yeah, I mean, it sounds like a negative thing against Chelsea, but again, I'm always a bit wary when a youngster goes to Chelsea at the minute, because when you've got the likes of Caicedo and Enzo Fernandez in front of you, are you really going to get game time? And obviously that proved to be the case whilst he was there. And yeah, I think he's made the perfect move in going to somewhere like Everton, playing for a manager like Moyes, where he's obviously going to get game time, and he's obviously going to get exposure to the first team. And he's probably, alongside Grealish and Pickford, probably the first names on the team sheet at the minute. So yeah, it's a fantastic move for him. And yeah, just really pleased he's been able to find a way to get his career going again. And yeah, I'm sure there'll be plenty more performances between now and the end of the season where we'll sing his praises. And yeah, unfortunately, he obviously played well against us in that the 10-man debacle, as I like to call it. But yeah, he's gonna do that against plenty of teams better than us. So yeah, I highly rate Dewsbury Hall, and it's just nice to see that he's actually getting the game time and the consistency and form that I thought we could get out of him had he maybe not gone to Chelsea first.
And they're good goals as well, aren't they? They're good goals.
Yeah.
I mean, even the one he scored, was it the one he even scored in the battle when they got done by Newcastle? Like the touch and just he's really coming into his own. You can see the confidence in him as a player shining through at the moment. In terms of Nottingham Forest, it's not Dyche wouldn't have been happy to lose that one, would he? He wouldn't have been that would have been the one he'd really wanted to put some marker down, but a 3-0 loss, not good for Dyche, Heather.
He was basically blaming it on the referee, wasn't he?
Yes, he was.
He said something like, we had the ball in many places, but the decisions went against us, which sounds like it's not my fault, it's ref.
Yeah, the ball didn't go where I wanted it to go, and the referee made decisions I didn't like.
Yeah, basically. He's a bit of a strange one, Dyche, isn't he? He's like,
he wasn't a happy bunny. David's noticed your Batman top though, Grimmy, and says he's the Joker. So it says football will bring in opposites together.
It certainly can, David. It certainly can.
That is what it's all about. But yeah, Nottingham Forest form. I mean, they've won 3 out of their last 5. They'd beaten Wolves the week before, which is happening everywhere. Good wins against Leeds and against Liverpool. They've picked up a little bit now, and you do think that they're going to start to pull away, Grimmy. I know Everton, bad result the weekend. They've got a few tricky ones up next. They've got Tottenham coming up though, away at Fulham, home to Man City, and then Everton again. Though they could still be in trouble by New Year. Those results. Yeah,
they're very easily. It could very easily turn into a bit of a nasty run for them. I think. I think for me, the thing with Forest will be is that there are 2 or 3 teams below them in terms of quality, and I think even though it might get a little bit skatey at times for them, I still think they'll be fine. You can see, even with the weekend's result aside, that obviously there is an improvement in their overall play. Dyche does have them quite well organised now, versus what Ange Ball was obviously trying to do the complete opposite. But yeah, I think it'll be very interesting to see obviously how they do. They've got quality players. They've got Gibbs White. They've got Elliot Anderson, who I highly rate and would very much like to see in that Man United midfield at some point in the next season or so. And yeah, they've got good players, and I would certainly back them to, even if they had a bad run over Christmas, I think they'll still be fine and be fairly comfortable towards the end of the season, I think. But yeah, obviously we'll see what happens. They've got Spurs next, and who knows if Spurs have turned the corner yet. We'll have to wait and see. They may well pick up some points unexpectedly, but yeah, I think they'll be fine.
That's it. Who knows? Currently, Tottenham are beating Slavia Prague 2-0 tonight in the Champions League. I think we'll do a quick roundup, shall we, of what's going on in the Champions League. So you've got full times from earlier. You've got Kairat. Kairat lost to Olympiacos at home 1-0. Bayern Munich winning 3-1 against Sporting Lisbon. I presume no Harry Kane on the score sheet. Did he? Must not have played. Did he? Must have had a break. Did they let him have a night off? Can't believe he played. No, he played and didn't score. Unbelievable. You've got latest Atalanta 0, Chelsea 1. Goal from João Pedro for Chelsea. Certainly wasn't doing that for my fantasy Premier League team before we got sold the other week. You've got Barcelona 0, Frankfurt 1, although it's just come up with a potential, maybe an equaliser coming up for Barcelona here. We'll see. Inter Milan 0, Liverpool 0, of course. Salah less currently in Italy. Monaco 0, Galatasaray 0, PSV 1, Atletico Madrid 2, Tottenham 2, Slavia Prague 0, and Union Saint-Gilloise 1, Olympique Marseille 2. So there we go, Champions League. And Barcelona have indeed equalised against Frankfurt. Julius Kunde assisted by one Marcus Rashford. Lovely jubbly. Getting that price tag up all the time. That's what we like to see. Lovely cross it was as well. That's another 5 mil. That's another 5 mil.
Yeah, there we go.
Has he not actually been sold then? He's just on loan.
It's just on loan, yeah.
Still on loan, yeah. Still on loan. Interesting what's going to happen there long term. I think the problem is the fee to get him out of there and actually paying the full wages is the problem. And I don't think that problem's going away. So interesting how that was all going to end up. But yeah. David says the goal disallowed. Liverpool, Canate. There we go. Just to add to Canate's tremendous season so far for Liverpool. But of course, thank you everyone joining us on YouTube. If you are watching, do please hit that like button and subscribe if you'd like to see more from us. It's not just the Premier League. We do plenty of other shows as well. And more watch-alongs are coming, aren't they, Grimmy? More watch-alongs will be coming in 2026.
Yes, very much going to have them organised in 2026. I promise you that.
It's very exciting. And don't worry, with the World Cup draw, there are already plans in place for the summer. It's going to be a very exciting summer of football. And there's a lot of football. Anyone who sat through the million groups that they went through, having waited there for 2 hours of the most crazy preamble show I've ever seen, I think, which was absolute nonsense. But Group L, who knew? Who knew there we'd be in a World Cup and a Group L? That's how long it's going to go on for. But we'll be here. We'll be here to cover it all. Don't you worry.
1 o'clock, 1 o'clock stream for the Scots in the morning. That's what I'm hearing. Come on.
This is it. Ballon d'Or Scotty at 2:30 in the morning. I'm here for it.
Yes.
I'm here for it. That's why I haven't got a Napoli one of these, actually, because they didn't do well with a Ballon d'Or Scotty. So I don't want that Maradona fellow on the back. I'd rather have a Ballon d'Or Scotty. Right, which game should we go to next that we haven't yet covered? Going to pick it up here. I tell you what, Grimmy. Shall we have a good time? Let's have a good time, because it's been a while since you and I have chatted about Manchester United. Of course, we've had a mixed bag of fortunes as usual. It's the old up and down peak as we tend to get used to. But yesterday it was Wolves 1, Manchester United 4. I did watch it in the background of the stream that I was on. And I think my overview was, before we get to Manchester United, my God, Wolves are bad.
Yes. I can't really give them any sort of positive spin other than the last sort of 10-15 minutes of that first half. They looked like they were gaining some confidence, and obviously they got the goal in the end. So I was fearing for the second half that they might come out all guns blazing, but it obviously didn't turn out to be the case. Obviously it's a very good result for United, and obviously I'm taking 4 goals in any game that United play in. Whether it's obviously Wolves or if it's City or whoever we happen to score against, I will take 4 goals. But one thing I will say is I was not enjoying that first half in the sense of we were very sloppy, I think. I just don't feel like we were keeping the ball that well. And every time we got to the final third, we just seemed to be either slipping or misplacing the pass, or just seeming to be playing with a confidence that didn't really show why we were playing that confidence. I mean, that Bruno Fernandes goal in the first half may well be probably one of the worst goals I think I've ever seen us score.
I was going to say, Graham's mentioned here the worst goal, and I will just add on that when we go into the detail of it. I was waiting in the pre-stream for the non-league show, absolutely killing myself laughing, talking to Ben as that goal went in. It was almost like embarrassing to score. Tell everybody about it.
Yeah. Well, me and my wife were sat on the sofa and they started celebrating the goal, and my wife just went, "Don't even celebrate that goal, Bruno. It's not even. Don't even celebrate. Just turn around, walk away, and go back to the centre half." Like, he's giving it what for? And I'm just like, I'm sat there cringing behind my hand, like just thinking, "Oh, I just want this to be over." But yeah,
how bad was the defending from the centre back in that? I mean, the ball from Cunha was awful. Bruno slipped, but then. Just no awareness whatsoever. Just steamed in completely the wrong side of the ball.
Well, if you even take it a couple of like 10 seconds before that, Gomez passing the ball back into like no man's land, and then obviously Cunha ball like a yard behind Bruno, who slips over on his backside and somehow manages to pivot him, swivel on the floor like some sort of weird dodgy breakdancing move on a Friday night. And then trickles the ball past Johnson, who really, in my opinion, should have a stronger arm than that. And to just palm it out for a corner or something. Like, yeah, it was a shocking goal, and is probably the perfect description for how Wolves' defending and overall season has been, really, because again they have been.
The second goal,
shocking.
The goalkeeper was having a funny 5 minutes as well, wasn't it? I mean, the Wolves goalkeeper was.
Yeah, I don't know if he's being an undercover agent for us last night, because obviously he came up through our ranks, but
he had a bit of rush of blood to the head or something.
Yeah, if there's like an extra week's pay in his bank account, we know where that's come from. Mr. Sir Jim might have made a few phone calls. I don't know, but yeah, it's just a perfect picture of how Wolves are doing at the minute, with mistakes like that from the defense and from the goalkeeper, and it just beggars the question as to why Rob Edwards went there in the first place. I just don't see how they're gonna turn it around. Even if they signed 4 or 5 players in January, I don't think that's gonna save them.
They're actually doing worse than Saints were last year, aren't they? Which is
mental, because we were all saying, weren't we, Heather and Sam, that like last season we thought Saints might be the worst team we've ever seen in the Premier League, and Wolves are probably streaking past the Saints, because at least Saints were in certain games. Like, Wolves haven't been in anything really, apart from maybe like obviously at half time yesterday. But yeah,
Wolves have done a full-on hold my beer with that, haven't they? You thought that was bad.
Yeah. But yeah, in terms of United, obviously it's a great result, and obviously we have to take some confidence from that.
And Mason Mount goal was beautiful.
Oh yeah, I mean, yeah, I can't speak highly enough of obviously like the play, like Mount and how he's done this season in terms of getting back into fitness and staying fit. Obviously, I know he's not necessarily playing every single match, but when he's come in, he's played well. And yeah, we're doing what we need to do against the teams that we need to do against. The frustrating thing is obviously the West Ham result. Obviously, if we'd got 6 points from 6, I think we could look at it with a bit more positive spin and would be in the top 4. So yeah, we've just hopefully got to, over Christmas, hopefully find some consistency and pick up some results against the teams that are probably in and around us come the end of the season, the likes of Newcastle, of course, and maybe Bournemouth if they start picking up the form again. Heather, we'll see. We'll see on Monday. It's been a happy hunting ground for Bournemouth recently, so you never know. We could see a win for Bournemouth on Monday. I think. I don't think it's totally out of the question, to be honest.
Surely Heather owes us a result. I can't remember the last time we booked Bournemouth, and I think it's been by at least 3 goals, at least the last 3.
Yeah, well, I've only been to Old Trafford twice, I think, and both times we won 3-0. So.
And she's going next Monday, so
yeah, and I am making a very long journey, so you have to give me that, you know.
Oh yeah. I feel really gracious in the fact that we have to give you a 3-0 win every time you go. Yeah. I feel really good about that.
Just for this long journey, if you win 3-0 again, Heather, I'm going to beg you next season not to go. I mean, like, go on holiday, do whatever you want to.
Ticket price. We will pay you the ticket price not to go.
Yes, that one is certainly coming up. But as you said, Grimmy, Wolves, I was just watching it, just thinking there was a team devoid of confidence, quality, structure, belief. The mistakes they were making were just so basic. I mean, I remember there was one point, I think, United were sloppy and Dalot gave the ball away and there was a turnover. And it might have been, they had an extra man on it might have been 3-on-2 or maybe sort of slightly more. But if they'd have played it right, there was a great. And the first touch from whoever it was on the halfway line was just amateurish and it just bounced off his knee straight back to the centre back and just completely deflated everything. And then the ease. There was one where Dalot got in with a ball. When have we got in with a ball over the top? Just one ball and one run. I've never seen someone play that open when the blueprint about how to stop United is pretty much out there. You know what I mean? We're not quite where people are sort of blocking off against us, and for some reason they, Wolves felt that they were the guys, but. I can't see it. Rob Edwards, I can't see it. I didn't understand that appointment. I don't understand why he went. And to be fair, he's not got any tools with him there. I think that's enough to get out of it. As you said, they might bring 5 players in January, and we've seen people do it, but they're so far off. And it's not like you look at the teams that they're trying to overtake and come past, they're way off of where Burnley are, of where, the teams that were down there with them are picking up. West Ham, Nottingham Forest, Leeds. It's only getting further away. So I think they're in a terrible space. And I think it was one of those where United played well in the second half. I was frustrated first half as well. But they also played well against a poor team and got the job done, which in some aspects is good because we're not always great at doing that when teams are there to be put away. But yeah, there's bigger tests to come, no doubt about it.
Monday night.
Monday night. David says he'll pay for you to go, Ever, to cause us some more trouble on the Monday nights. This is it, another Monday night podcast derby. We'll see for that.
You sure you don't want to do a watch along? Because
I may well be on the
100% not.
I might be on the non-league pod again, so I may be I may be heading my hands.
You've got an excuse, Sam. I don't really have an excuse, so.
This is true. This is true. We'll see. We'll see how that one plans out. But as you said, Grimmy, on Manchester United, where are you in general with us? Because obviously it's been a while since we've spoken. It has been very hit and miss on the games recently. We had that really poor game against Everton, against the 10 men, as you said. Then we turned up at Crystal Palace and inflicted their first defeat at Selhurst Park since February, which was really good. And then we got the trash at home against West Ham. So it's still in this kind of just can't get that consistency and that. And I almost feel like we're in a bit of a flux because we can't decide whether we're on board with what's going on or not, because you always feel you're one result away from going back the way you were. Do you kind of feel the same?
Yeah. I think my perspective on it is we obviously aren't as bad as last season, but there's obviously still progress to be made. It kind of feels like we're in a middle ground right now where we're obviously not where we want to be, but we're in the first couple of steps of going that way. If you look at the next 3 games, we've got Bournemouth obviously at home, Villa away, and Newcastle at home. Going to Villa away is going to be a very tough game, and I think that Boxing Day one will probably be quite tough as well. Bournemouth, as I've shown in the past, can turn up. So there's every chance we could go away with 1 or 2 points out of the next 3 games. And then we're sort of back to sitting in the mid-table and hoping for something to turn around again. But I think the fact that we've obviously turned games around a little bit more, like you say, the Palace game is probably the prime example where we've been 1-0 down. I think last season we could have gone 2-3-0 down by half time based on our confidence at that point. But with the players that we've got, we're sticking in games and we're finding a way to nick a goal and get ourselves back in more times than not at the minute, which is obviously great. The worry I have, especially over the next month, is our right side of our team is basically getting absolutely obliterated because of AFCON. So I worry with the likes of Mbeumo going, and obviously he's our top goal scorer this season so far. Ahmad obviously going as well, and then you've got Mazraoui potentially not being able to either fill in at the right centre back or the right wing back. You're kind of losing a lot of what you would have there. So there's players that haven't played really much of the season that are probably going to get called up, and it's going to be a big chance for them to hopefully step up and obviously take an opportunity to get some more game time. You think of the likes of Menu, you probably see Dorgu as well. He'll probably go on the left, and then Dalot will be on the right. Players like that are going to have to step up, and there's probably not many sterner tests than Villa coming up right now, so that'll probably be a big barometer of how the rest of our season is going to go. I think is if we can go to places like that and pick up points, then I think we'll be fine. I don't think we're necessarily going to slip down to the likes of 15th again, because I mean we're like 16, 17 points away from the points total we were at the end of last season. So that in of itself is progress. But yeah, it's going to be one of those, I think, where what we've seen so far in the season, where it's been up and down, I think that's going to be the continuing trend for the rest of the season while we're looking to trying to get that consistency. But yeah, a nice 3-0 home win on Monday would be a lovely early Christmas present. That's all I'll say.
It would be nice.
Someone on this panel might not agree with that. I don't know who that might be.
Let's see what it brings. Right, I've got a couple more we got still to talk about. One of which is we'll go to the other side of Manchester, because Manchester City with a 3-0 win against Sunderland, taking advantage of Arsenal's slip up as well, which has pushed them kind of closer back in it. And Heather, is Phil Foden back? Is this the Phil Foden we were all wondering where he was last season? Because he's been on a hot streak.
I think he is, yeah. And I read somewhere that his daughter's unfortunately been very unwell and had cancer or something, which explains why he wasn't, quite himself last year. And hopefully now she's well and he'll be back firing on all cylinders again.
Yeah, hopefully, and probably explains as well, because he was left out a lot last season. There were the questions, and that would kind of explain why as well. And you can completely understand, that's stuff. Lots of things are bigger than football, and that is certainly one of them. But him on form and him really sort of electric and scoring goals, and that it's a massive thing for City, but also have a massive thing potentially for England as well. Another in the number 10 spot. We're not short players in that area.
Holland seems to have dropped off again, doesn't he? Like the last 2 or 3 weeks.
Yeah, not as much. And it's important that they've got like Foden stepping up, I think, and doing bits and pieces. And the other one who's impressed me, Grimmy, Cherky. Ryan Cherky has stepped in, playing some fun. It's very exciting, doing some excellent bits and taking the pressure off of Haaland with some sort of great assists and support play, same with Jeremy Doku. But to the effect, we've all forgotten about Marmoush. Marmoush has barely played. Do you think have we been underestimating this Manchester City depth? Because they're now showing that if Haaland doesn't score, well, maybe they can get over the line again.
Yeah, and I think that's been the question for the majority of the season, hasn't it? Is if Haaland doesn't score, who is going to? And I think the questions have started to get answered these past few weeks, because it feels mad to say Haaland's dropped off a bit when it's 3 weeks, but that's basically a growth drought for him compared to normal strikers. So, Foden obviously is back to his normal self. I think after this little, I said I characterized it as a blip last week. And I mean, that 18-month period wasn't obviously up to his usual standards, but this season specifically, I think he's back to his best, which is obviously great for City and great for England as well. That's what you want to see going into a World Cup. But yeah, the players around Haaland are now starting to chip in, which spells trouble for the likes of Arsenal, obviously, who are in the title race with them and other players. So yeah, I think City. I said it a little bit earlier. It feels like they're starting to pair a little bit. Like they're just getting the results now without too much overexertion, which is kind of the City of old. So yeah, I think a lot of teams will have to watch out when City are coming to visit, I think.
Definitely looks that way. There's 3 wins on the trot. Obviously, they had the late goals against Leeds and against Fulham and against the Sunderland side, obviously, that have made it very, very difficult for a lot of opponents so far this season. Graham's happy because Charlton have nicked one back against Middlesbrough. There's 10 minutes to go. They're on the comeback trail. Graham is searching. It's a correction. It's an Edmondson own goal. He's searching for a Desmond at the Valley. Can a Desi turn up?
Come on, Borough.
Come on, the Desi.
Who said that?
I said that. Some bloke in a Batman shirt. Don't know who it could potentially be. Call the commissioner. But on the flip side of it, Heather, again, Sunderland, a loss at Manchester City is they're not going to be too worried about that with the recent form where they're playing. It's going to happen, isn't it? And even as well as they've been playing.
Yeah, they are an absolutely fantastic team. Like at the start of the season, everybody was like, "Oh yeah, the 3 teams that came up are going to be the same 3 teams that go down," but they're doing incredibly well. They're just smashing it, and they're defensively really good as well, and they seem to be getting the goals. And who knew Zaka was I don't know, some sort of hidden gem somewhere, because again, he's like quite old for a footballer, isn't he? And he seems to be popping up with goals all over the place.
He's been a fantastic free transfer for Sunderland, and I hope he just gives them a bit of a refresh, with games to come up, and they wouldn't have cared. I think their big worry going into the weekend was both Xhaka and Siddiqui were on the verge of their 5th bookings, and of course that they've got the match against Newcastle next, and they were like, I think talking to Ant, he was like, I don't care if we lose 9-0 to Man City as long as those two don't.
They should have let we should have let them. We were hoping Zaka would get his 5th red card before they played us. And that probably would have been a sensible decision for him to take one for the team, and then he'd be back for Newcastle. But he didn't do that, unfortunately. So
I think he didn't get booked, did he, at the weekend? I'm sure he didn't.
No, he didn't.
I'll just check for sure, make sure we are.
Some of my Sunderland friends definitely would have been up in arms if he had.
Absolutely. No, it was a clean sweep. No bookings apiece. That's probably why. No tackles going in. Don't blame them. Don't blame them at all. And look who's in. It's our wonderful Dan, Super Dan. Just want to pop and say hello. Hello, Dan. Hope you're doing well, mate. Doesn't want to talk about Burnley, but he is. Parker out, Heather. Who would have thunk it?
I mean, I could have told you that, but
I could have told you that, and I probably did.
And I probably did. And like us with Fulham, the Burnley fans wouldn't have wanted to listen because he got them up and he's great in the Championship. But once you get to the Premier League, he starts falling apart. So
it's not.
Yeah, his vox pops are not the best.
It's not looking good. It's not looking good. It's starting to slip on the Burnley front. But for Sunderland, what a game coming up! Sunderland versus Newcastle, Stadium Light. I worry for Ant's health if that one.
I worry for his liver, to be honest. If they end up having a massive result against Newcastle, I don't think we'll see him for a little while. I think the Christmas merriment might come 2 weeks early, to be fair, which I wouldn't blame him for.
It could be Christmas come early. When is it? Is it on Sunday?
It's Sunday at 2:00, because I will not be going anywhere near the town of Newcastle on that day. I will be as far away from there as possible. Because whether it's a win or a loss, there will be riots in the streets for some ungodly reason. But yeah, I'll be away from it.
There will indeed. Dave is giving us some updates on the Champions League. Home alone Kevin McAllister has just scored for you in Saint-Gilloise, but sadly disallowed. Ruining the festive score. Maybe there's still time for him. I'm just going to have a little look at where the rest of the games are currently. So Atalanta have equalised against Chelsea. It's 1-1 there. It's 2-1 now to Barcelona. A second for Koundé with an assist from a young man called Lamine Yamal, who's supposed to be quite good. Inter 0, Liverpool 0 still goalless. Between Inter Milan and Liverpool. Monaco have taken the lead against Galatasaray. Balogun, who used to be on Arsenal's books, has scored for them. Atletico Madrid are 3-1 up at PSV. And of course, PSV battered Liverpool last time out, so good result for Simeone's men, the looks of it. Tottenham have just put a penalty in, was that, for 3-0? Xavi Simons, he's now getting a bit of form after. We aren't going to go through the Tottenham game in detail, but he played really well at the weekend and really starting to probably his finest hour in a Tottenham shirt so far. And he scored again tonight against Slavia Prague, so starting to get things going for Tottenham.
That performance on Saturday was what I expected to see, and I think if that's him sort of fitting in now, I think he could be in for a very good second half of that season. If he can keep performances like that up, he'll be doing well.
Exactly, yeah, definitely. And that's what the Tottenham fans expected they were getting. That is exactly the type of player that they need, particularly with Maddison out at the moment. Certainly needs him to step up. And the last one in the Champions League at the minute is Younes Chajoua 2, Marseille 3. 2 goals for the player that we won't name, but they are 3-2 up in Belgium at the moment. Of course, there's lots of games. We won't keep you abreast with all of the EFL games. We'll talk about that on Thursday. Don't worry, because there's goals flying in everywhere with those ones at the moment. But we've got, I think, have I got one more game or 2 more games? I can't remember. I think I've got 2 we'll touch on very quickly. One I wanted to get Heather's view on because, of course, it was the beloved Bournemouth against Chelsea. I'd say clean sheet against Chelsea. Have been in good form. How did the performance go? Were you happy with the result?
Yeah, so against Sunderland and against Everton, it was not like the same team that I've been watching all season, and possibly the game before that as well. And everybody was just getting on the players' backs. We had Tavernier swearing at the North Stand, telling us all to F off and throwing some fingers at us. Because he thought we were getting on his back, but we were actually trying to encourage the other players to help him out because he was by himself a lot. But he wasn't happy. But against Chelsea, it was a better performance for sure. We probably, even my Chelsea friend said, you probably deserve to win that, but we just couldn't seem to get it over the line. And I suppose it's better to not lose than if you can't win, don't lose, basically. So at least we got the point out of it. And yeah, Chelsea have been playing well recently, haven't they? So hopefully it's turned us back around to ready for Monday.
On the turnaround, yeah, because it's been a difficult run, isn't it? To be fair, just be like that. You have a run like that and turn up at Old Trafford like your former selves and go and destroy United. But just 2 points from the last 6 games. Have you been worried about the form and the run? Obviously, slipped down the table a little bit as well.
Yeah, I mean, I blame the fact that some people, I think it was at Palace, was starting to sing the Champions League song again.
Oh, no.
And I'm like, don't do this. Do you not remember what happened last time? But yeah, it has been a bit worrying, but we know we're not going to get relegated. There's definitely 3 teams worse than us. So, but it would be better to obviously be a bit further up than 13th, 14th, which is where we are at the moment. Because obviously we finished in 9th last year and we were that close to the European places, and apparently the owner was very disappointed that we didn't make it. So I'm hoping that he'll sort of put a bit more money in January, but who knows?
Who knows what's going to happen? It is. I suppose it's difficult, isn't it? Because the expectation when you continually kind of do that up and up, everyone gets used to it, and then when you have a dip, then everyone gets frustrated because they're like, "Oh, but we thought we were going," and it can happen. Like anyone in the Premier League can have a run of bad games. You know?
And football fans are so fickle, aren't they? They're just like, I mean, our ground is pretty much always sold out, and the tickets that were available for Everton and Chelsea were incredible, like back on the resale platform that people just didn't want to go and watch. So I'm glad that it did pick up again on Saturday, because hopefully it will still get the crowd behind them and stuff.
That's it. And so going away at Manchester United, then you're at home to Burnley, another podcast derby, and a lot of podcast derbies in recent times, and then double trip to London with Brentford and Chelsea. Well, you got us all about London. Two away in London, and then 2 Londoners, Arsenal and Tottenham, come visit you afterwards.
Yeah. I don't think Scott Parker's going to get very warm welcome back if he's still there on the 20th.
I've had
reports. The nail in the coffin.
I've had reports that Dan might turn up in a Bournemouth top just to hopefully help Parker get out the door quicker if Bournemouth wins. So yeah,
this is it. He's got his Bournemouth Christmas jumper. Absolutely, it's going to be and so interesting if Bournemouth can get to that kind of form that they've had. And do you think some of it as well is because everyone was praising how quickly that defensive unit came in at the start of the season with them all being new? Do you think it's a little bit they've been found out a little bit? They're struggling a bit more this part of the season than they did in the early doors.
Well, Senesi has not had. Well, we've not had the same back four lineup throughout the whole season. I think each week there's been at least one person different in it. And Senesi's not like formed a partnership with any of the other centre backs because he generally plays. We've had obviously Lewis Cook got a red card. We've had 5 or 6 players all on like the 4 yellow cards, and then we had Brooks and Senesi and Cook out last week, and then we've now got Tyler Adams was out on Saturday because he got his 5th yellow card. But I guess it's just the way that we play. It's, if you want to watch the exciting football, you're going to just have to expect that this is going to come up, really.
Yeah.
This is it. It's the way to go for it. And on the other foot, Grimmy, Chelsea have just gone 2-1 down in the Champions League to Atalanta as well tonight.
Sacre bleu.
Sacre bleu, indeed. After all the hype of the 3 wins and then the draw at Arsenal, etc., it's been a bad couple of weeks, really. Well, I say, the draw at Bournemouth, not disaster, but after the loss to Leeds as well. Again, is this inconsistent young side, do we think?
I think it's just Chelsea being Chelsea at this point. Yeah, I think it's just they're not gonna. Yeah, I mean, I spoke about it quite a lot last week on the pod as well. Like Chelsea, until I think they have that sort of experienced spine, which I think there's signs of it coming. Like with obviously the midfield, and then maybe like obviously 1 or 2 of the centre backs that they've got. I think maybe the forward line, like the striker particularly, needs probably a bit more experience. And with Pedro and Delap, because obviously Delap can't stop getting injured at the minute. But yeah, Chelsea are going to Chelsea, and I think until they get that sort of world-class goalkeeper as well, I think they'll probably be fighting for top 4 over the next few seasons until they sort of get a little bit more experience into that lineup and a bit more consistency, because the transfer windows are just so topsy-turvy in terms of ins and outs, and in terms of experience coming in, it's very little. So yeah, I expect that to continue for a while.
Certainly at Chelsea as well, they're not going to get involved in January. we know how they do things. They're going to be involved in the January transfer window. It seems still like they're building and that they're going to have these drop offs, and it's a very competitive Premier League this season. There's no doubt about it. And their next few games are tough. I mean, Everton at home, they're on great form. Newcastle away, St James's Park's a nightmare to go to. Aston Villa, as we've said, on Friday, they've got Bournemouth again. Then at home before away at Manchester City. So this really is we're going to see the stones of this Chelsea team, I think, over the next month.
I did notice, Cucurella normally gets like loads of fouls and he just throws himself down on the floor. He wasn't doing that, so perhaps he's either had a word with, or he's realised, no, the refs are now wise to this and I'm not going to get given the fouls, and I'm just going to look stupid if I'm throwing myself all around. But he definitely wasn't doing it.
Maybe they're on to him. Chelsea have had 1 or 2 silly red cards already this season, so maybe they're trying to tighten up their disciplinary at long last with what's happened so far this season. Right, I've got just one more game. We'll have a little gander, and then we'll have a look at the rest of the results and see how it went. And it was Fulham Crystal Palace, which was the Super Sunday goal game that we had there, with Crystal Palace coming back in and scoring twice. Eddie Nketiah on the score sheet for Crystal Palace. And did anybody see that fantastic Harry Wilson goal as well with the touch off? And what a goal that was! Touch off, fantastic flick off around the corner and the outside of the boot. What a player! He's
doing fantastically both for Fulham and for Wales, isn't he? He's because we had him for a while and we thought he was rubbish. As soon as he left, he seems to have picked up form or something.
He's he's been chipping in with goals all season, really, for Fulham, and especially at times when they've had very little forward options, he's often come up trumps them. So yeah, I think he's more than earning that sort of game time that he's getting, really. And yeah, I'm sure that Wales fans will be hoping that this continues when they get to those World Cup qualifiers as well, because I'm sure he's going to be a big part of them. If they can get through those couple of games in the playoffs, then I'm sure he's going to be a big part of the reason why they'll get through if they do.
Definitely.
He is. He's going to be vital, isn't he? That is for sure. And Crystal Palace, Grimmy, up into the top 4. Oliver Glasner is continuing to do his miracles. Absolutely, I don't think I think we've praised Oliver Glasner a lot. I'm sure Graham won't like it, but we have to give more praise because again, sort of in that top 4, and off the, still just continuing to get over the line. And what I like about them, they seem to have the kind of grit. They're gritting out tough, close games. Most of them are by a single goal.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, 100%. I mean, I generally don't understand how Glasner's doing it, considering what Palace have lost in terms of like going forward. I know Mateta is obviously still there and he's still banging goals in for them fairly consistently, and Gueye still being there is obviously a massive piece of the puzzle. But obviously they're going to lose Gueye probably at the end of the season, and unless there's some sort of big transfer window next summer for them, I would probably expect Glasner to go as well, because I don't think Glasner's very happy. He's obviously not signing the contract extension. But then it's like, if Palace do get into the Champions League, does that stop does Glasner go, well, no, I've earned the right to be the manager of them in the Champions League, so why am I going and why am I giving that up? So
are you saying, Grimmy, is the Glasner half full or not? Is that what
Sam,
got to get a Christmas jingle in there.
I had to. I've got to give you props on that one. That was pretty good. But yeah, like
the cracker jokes again.
Yeah, this is it. Yeah, I've been prepping them early.
Yeah, when he's not prepping for pods and hosting every single podcast under the sun, he's opening crackers too early to get some new material.
Crackers.
But yeah, like it's remarkable, obviously, that the fact that Palace find themselves where they are. I mean, their goals record, obviously, they're not necessarily scoring tons of goals, but they're keeping teams out pretty consistently. And yeah, I mean, their fixtures coming up. They've got City next, which is obviously anyone is going to have a tricky time against City. It's at home for Palace though, so you never know. That might be something they can use. Obviously, they've got Conference League either side of that. And then it gets into the Christmas period when they've got Leeds, Arsenal, Spurs, and then Fulham. So, yeah, I think it's going to be an interesting time for Palace, because obviously we'll find out more in January what's going to happen with Gueye, I think, and we'll see what goes on from there. But yeah, all credit to them for having the start to the season when they've got Europe going on as well. Even though it's the Conference League, obviously it's not necessarily the most challenging Europe, but with the Finn squad that they have in terms of quality, to be where they are, I think is quite miraculous, really. Probably expected to tail off, but the longer it goes on for, why not be in a shout for more European competition next season? There's every chance.
This is it. They are continuing to do some fantastic stuff. And for Fulham, that'd be a disappointing loss for them. Having the disappointment of the crazy Manchester City game in midweek, where you score 4 goals and still don't come away with don't even come away with a double desi, Grimmy. Come away with nothing whatsoever with a 4-5.
Sorry, I have to interrupt, Sam, because Liverpool have been given a penalty. And if the image that I've just seen is the reason why they've been given a penalty, we have to have a serious conversation about the state of refereeing in European competitions.
Is it a shocker? Grimmy is questioning
He's touched the guy's He's touched Vert's shoulder, and Vert has gone down in the penalty box, and they've given it. And Liverpool have scored, which of course they have. But like, what? Like, am I? I'm going to turn this off because I'm going to get angry. But yeah,
Grimmy is preparing a strongly worded letter to UEFA as we speak.
I'm going to start doing a refereeing course. I mean, they'll not let me referee Liverpool game, but I'm going to start doing a refereeing course because I need to see what they're being taught. Because my God, that's awful decision making. I'm sure David will be in the chat in a second saying, "No, that was a definite penalty." But there we go.
There we are. We shall have to wait and see to make our own judgments. But Grimmy is certainly believing that's not a penalty. But it looks like Liverpool may have nicked it late on. Elsewhere, I think it's just finished between Union Saint-Gilloise and Marseille. That was 2-3. That just came up on my screen. What else have we got?
Easy for you to say, Sam.
Yeah, Union Saint-Gilloise. And we've got 2-1 Atalanta Chelsea, still 2-1 Barcelona Frankfurt. As we said, Inter 0 Liverpool 1 now. Monaco still leading Galatasaray, and PSV are now 3-2 down against Atletico Madrid. Ricardo Pepi scoring his second of the night. Who knows? Who knows how it could all turn out? But let's bring up, shall we, the rest of the fixtures. If I come over here, if we go over here, let's see. There it is in all its glory. Matchday 15 of the Premier League. So the other games we didn't touch on. Newcastle beating Burnley 2-1. Another good win for them at St James's Park. Bruno Guimaraes getting amongst the goals, Grimmy. Newcastle starting to put some form together. That's now, what, four without loss on the bounce?
Yeah, they're starting to do a Villa. They had a shaky start to the season, but now they're starting to get into the motion. Like they did, it's very much similar pattern to what they did last year when they went. I think they were bottom 5, and then they went on that sort of 10 winning game streak. Newcastle starting to pair nicely, and only 4 points between them and the top 4. So they keep putting that run together. They'll be up there pretty quick. Though I'm sure Ant might have something to say about that on Sunday, I think.
Yes, that's a very, very intriguing one. All eyes on that on Sunday. And as we said, Tottenham doing well with Xavi Simon's performance 2-0 against Brentford. But Heather, we've been giving a lot of praise to Brentford. They've been doing sort of very well, but it's very much a home versus away kind of form situation. Yeah. 7 losses out of 8 on the road. They're struggling away from home, aren't they?
They've lost a lot as well, haven't they? So I'm surprised at how well they have been doing at home, to be fair, especially with their, sounds a bit rude, but makeshift manager.
He's certainly getting the best out of, say, Igor Thiago. They're not scored in their last 2 games. He's got 11 goals. I think he's the second top goal scorer, isn't he, behind Erling Haaland? He's done a phenomenal job. They keep finding a striker or two. Brentford, they're not bad at unearthing a striker. Because Ollie Watkins was there years ago, wasn't he, before he got his move to Villa. So obviously Ivan Toney, Brumo as well, Johan Visser, and now Igor Thiago. So
Ivan Toney has been in the news this week, hasn't he?
He has. He's not been a naughty boy, isn't he? I'm surprised, to be honest. He's still with a World Cup year. I'd have thought this was going to be the year. Maybe he did a year in Saudi and come back, or got a move or something. Whereas it's not. If we're honest, up front for it, there's not a plethora of options outside of Harry Kane. Watkins is pretty much looking like he's going to be a shoo-in as an option, but Delap's been injured and in and out. What do you reckon, Grimmy? Surely he's looking at getting some kind of move to get his name in, because he's not going to get in the England squad sat where he's sat, is he?
No, I don't think he is. I mean, it's kind of the epitome of a World Cup season where a player not getting much game time, January comes around, you've got to try and find a way to either get in the team you're in, or you've got to get a loan out there. I mean, how many examples in the past have we seen of people go have a good second half of the season? People can get injured, people can lose form in the second half of the season. If you get games at the right time, you can put your name on the board, and he's another example of that, where I think game time is going to be crucial if he's going to force his way in. So yeah, but no, 100% agree.
But which English club is going to take him after the betting thing and now this alleged?
Yeah, he may.
Yeah,
this is it. He may, all alleged at the minute, but may be in some further trouble that might cause him some issues. We'll see. And of course, we've also got the wonderous informed Danny Welbeck that cannot be ruled out for for an option in that squad. True. Super Danny Wells, could have a moment in him. Could have a moment in him ready for America in the summer. Speaking of Danny Welbeck's Brighton, they drew at home to West Ham. Secured a draw very much at the end there. Fighting, battling performance from West Ham, and the points were shared 1-1. So that means that the Premier League table looks somewhat like this. Arsenal are still top, but their lead is cut to just 2 points on Manchester City. 33 points on Man City on 31. Aston Villa now in third, just 3 points off the top. And Crystal Palace, as we said, have snuck into those top 4 positions. Then it's Chelsea in fifth. And Manchester United, I've given an extra point, Grimmy, because it's Christmas.
Yes.
Because why
That's
not?
how it works. This
I
is
didn't
final.
give us a place, but I've given us an extra point just because why not? Then we come to the other end of the table. It's West Ham in 18th, but picked up a bit more form with 13 points. Burnley 19th with 10, looking a little bit more worrying for them now. And Wolves, which is looking absolutely disastrous, with two points. Still had a win. Imagine they just not had a. Still not had a. I mean, that goal that they scored against us, Grimmy, was their first one in however much long. Last time they scored was match day 9 against Burnley, and that's just absolutely
says everything, doesn't it?
Absolutely insanity.
I don't see where they're going to get a win from, to be honest.
I can't, to be honest. I can't. They had that kind of brief spell where they had a couple of decent performances against Tottenham and Brighton to pick out the draws. They got pegged late off, and then since then it's just all got on top of them, and it's too much. It's too much. The wave of pressure.
Yeah, and if you look at the next games, they've got Arsenal away, Brentford at home, Liverpool away, United away, West Ham and Everton coming up. So that there's like the Brentford and West Ham games are probably where they're going to be thinking we're getting something out of this. But wouldn't it just be the Premier League for them to go get something at Arsenal?
Could you imagine? That would be the shocker of all shockers.
I think if Arsenal lose points to Wolves, that is the start of that. That would be me getting on the collapse bandwagon of their title charge. I think that would be the sign death's door of a title challenge going away very quickly.
But that's beyond bottle job. That is you're submerged in the sewer if that happens. I think.
Basically, yeah.
Things don't look good, but I mean that's worrying because I mean they could very easily get pasted at Arsenal. They could get pasted at Liverpool as well. I know but Liverpool have got all that firepower, and yes, they're struggling structurally, but Wolves have got so much space in that team to play through. Liverpool could quite easily absolutely destroy them there if they're not careful. So, not looking good. Not looking good if you're a Wolves fan, that is for sure. But that covers all of our Premier League roundup. We haven't got Rebecca for a Scottish roundup, although the wonderful Hearts did beat Celtic at the weekend. So the Shankland Express continues, hopefully on a way to a title, on his way to America with the World Cup with the Scottish national team as well. So that's very exciting. Rebecca will be back shortly with her next Scottish roundup. Don't you worry about that. But it's just a time to say thank you to my super co-host tonight. Thank you for joining me for another Premier League wonderful roundup. Grimmy, how can everybody find you on the interweb of stuff and all the bits you're up to?
Yeah, so at the minute, not really YouTube-wise, there's not really a lot been going on. Been taking a bit of a break from it towards the end of this year. Looking to get some stuff up and running for the start of next year. So yeah, just keep your eyes on that, and I'm sure there'll be plenty of stuff on my Twitter when that comes, which you can find me on Grimmy16 for my usual ramblings about how bad Man United are in the first half against Wolves and various other things. But yeah, that's pretty much all the places you can find me at the minute.
All the places, there you are. Grimmy says, no, Rebecca again, need to have words with Aki. I know constantly these Tuesday fixtures, I've said that she needs to have a word, but it's just not at the moment doing anything. And David says, well done again, you two. Thank you very much. And thank you for joining us, David. We very much appreciate it. And Heather, where can everybody find you and your interweb of things?
Hedgehog73 on pretty much every platform.
Every platform. There you go. Every platform. That's where you can find Heather. And I'm at Sam Absolute FBL on pretty much most of the socials and stuff. Again, I'm not doing too much on YouTube at the minute, similar to Grimmy planning the stuff for next year. Plus, there's lots of podcasts at the moment with Christmas. I haven't got time for anything else with everything that's going on. But I am planning some stuff ready for the new year. And of course, what you want to be catching, if you're not catching, I don't know what you're doing. If I can find the slide. There it is. the Absolute Football Podcast, of course. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, you know the drill if you're with us regularly. On Monday, it's the Absolutely Non-League show. I was on it last night. A wonderful Ben hosted, and on the football side of things as well, did a tremendous job with our friends at NL Full Time as well. Really enjoyed that one last night. Do go and check that one out if you haven't already. And then on Tuesday, it's the Absolute Premier League show where we talk about, funny enough, the Premier League as we did tonight. That's what tends to happen. That's what will happen next week as well. So check us out at 8:30 on a Tuesday. Tomorrow and on a Wednesday night, Freya and Team Chaos, they're back with WSL 2. An exciting one because Chelsea didn't win. Which will be a story and a half to talk about tomorrow night. I think you've got Freya, you've definitely got Paul. I'm pretty sure you got Danny tomorrow as well. So a really exciting show to check them out with. And on Thursday, it's the Rowdy Rabble. I'm hosting this week, trying to keep charge of all those rowdy Thursday lot, talking everything from EFL Championship, League One and League Two. It's double game week in the Championship. There's FA Cup as well. I don't know how we're going to cover all of this within the allotted time space, but we'll find a way. We always do. Check us out on Thursday. Bring in your live match reports as well if you've watched anything else. And yes, 8:30 live. You can check us out on Twitter, Absolute Ball Pod, YouTube, Absolute Football Podcast, Twitch, the same, TikTok, Absolute Football Pod, Instagram, Absolute Football Podcast _ Blue Sky, Absolute Football, and Facebook, the Absolute Football Podcast. There we go. Graham's enjoyed the show. Thank you, Graham. Of course, aside from the Palace love, as we know. And David says, any news on the F1 show and the title? Is that will we bring it out an F1 show? I hope not, because I haven't planned anything. And the end of the season is probably not the best time to do it. So, no. But do check out Girls in the Grandstand, Rebecca, if you want some. I'm sure Rebecca and Jen have done something for the end of the season. And you do one now and again, don't you, Grimmy?
Yeah, I am planning on. That's kind of the main thing I'm planning on starting up again in January, because we've got a bunch of, obviously, the new cars are coming in, new regulations, new season, lots of upturn and changes happening. So yeah, there will be stuff coming. It'll probably be more towards the end of the year. If I say end of the year, we're at the end of the year, beginning of next year, when that starts to happen, because we've got I think there is a test early January as well. So yeah, plenty of stuff to come on that side. But yeah, we'll see what happens. But just keep your eyes on my Twitter, and as soon as the video goes up, it'll be on there as well. So yeah, keep your eyes peeled on that one.
There you go. Keep your eyes peeled like your carrots on what Grimmy is up to. But have a wonderful week. Enjoy all the football. Enjoy all the festivities and everything that's going on at this time of Christmas time. There's plenty of football that we'll be back talking about. So we'll be back next Tuesday. And check out the other shows as well on the podcast channel. But for now, have a wonderful week. We'll catch you on the next one. And ciao for now.